It's Dr. Cook here for MS200. Today we're going to be talking about the most likely course of action. All right, so up till now we've been talking about composition, disposition, capabilities, and strength and how we assess the enemy and what they can do. What we're going to talk about next is the anticipated enemy COAs. All right, what is it that we actually think they might do to us, and what's our best estimate of that? Now, the sit temp is the way that we show that. All right, so first let's talk about most likely course of action as a term. All right, what is that? Well, if we think of all the possible things the enemy could do, all right, there's multiple courses of action. They could come from the left, they could come from the right, they could come down the center, they could defend that hilltop, they could put an LPOP out over here, they could put it on the other side, whatever. They got lots of options that they could accomplish their mission doing. So once they know that, it's, all right, what is a course of action that's going to achieve their mission? And then based on the resources they have available, the terrain, the available time, and also consider the enemy commander's acceptable level of risk, right? What are they willing to risk for what they're trying to do? Out of all that, which of those COAs is the most likely one that the enemy's going to take? All right, what do we think they're actually going to do, the most likely thing that they will do? And really the way to get at this is think to yourself, what would you do? All right, if I was the enemy, how would I do what their mission is, right? So if they're trying to defend a hilltop, how would I defend that hilltop if I had to do that? If I need to block off a pass and prevent the enemy from entering an avenue of approach, how would I do that task, okay? So just turn the map around, put yourself in the enemy's shoes, and think about what would you do if you were them, all right? And the most likely thing is the MLCOA. All right, now the other thing you're going to hear a little bit about, I'll just touch on, is the most dangerous course of action. All right, it's the same kind of concept. What are all the possible courses of action that they have? And then take into account what the terrain is, the resources, the available time. Now, I crossed out here that commander's acceptable risk, because a lot of times the most dangerous one might be they're willing to take more risk than you think. All right, so sometimes that most dangerous one might be them accepting a whole bunch of risk, right? So that's the difference, right? That the commander's acceptable risk is impacting the likelihood that they'll do a course of action, all right? So it's not as big a concern. But really, out of all those possibilities, which one puts your mission at the most risk of failure? All right, so note, that's about your mission failing, all right? It is not necessarily the most deadly thing, all right? So the most dangerous is most dangerous to your mission, all right? What could the enemy do out of all their possible things that would really screw up your plans? All right, that's the most dangerous course of action. Now, how do we dream this up? And I already said, like, you just turn the tables around and think for yourself, if I had to do the enemy's mission, what would I do? All right, when we get into paragraph 3, execution, we'll talk a little bit more, but to give you some prep, just things for engagement area development, or you know, how does one set up a defense, all right, whether it's us trying to do it or it's the enemy trying to do it. Some key things here, right? You start out looking at what are your enemy's avenues of approach, all right? What's their scheme, the scheme of maneuver that they might take in, all right? And then from those, you can think about, all right, where do I want to kill the enemy, all right? So if I'm defending, where do I want to kill them? What's a good spot that they're going to come through that I can get good fires on? And then I plan and integrate obstacles. So what kind of obstacles do I want to put out that might keep them in my kill zone, my engagement area? And then I can start placing weapon systems down to all intersect and overlay the fires onto that engagement area, and then plan out for indirect fires into that same spot and how we could use them to shape the battlefield. And then you get into rehearsals, right? So that's just a quick overview of if I'm defending, the kind of things you might want to think about, which if you're putting yourself in the enemy defender's shoes because we're planning an attack, the same things they're going to have to think about. All right, so that concludes the lecture. I hope you learned something. See you in class.